Hello and welcome to our 5 minutes with Ekaterina tips and tricks for learning a language. Today let's discuss a very interesting topic which sounds like if I should learn how to do handwriting in my target language. Broader this topic sounds like should we teach children how to do handwriting if they have all these modern technologies and nobody is writing anything by hand during our modern times? Let's see which arguments people are saying contrary, which are pros, and then I will tell you what do I personally think. The first no, why shouldn't you do it, is that mostly when you learn a new language, you are using online resources. For most of language learners in the technological age, we use either italki or we use Tandem, we use Speak With You, Speak Up, all these websites where we can find native speakers as partners. And we use digital things like websites, apps in order to expand vocabulary, in order to improve our reading. We use, for example, YouTube in order to get the information about our target language. And it seems to us that everything we can just copy and paste and print it out. That means that there is no way where we do really need to use handwriting, especially if the handwriting system in the language is very different from the printed script. As for example, in Ukrainian, you do need to change the shape of the letters, and sometimes it's not so obvious which handwritten letter is actually which printed letter is. You do need to memorize it. The first argument, no, means you just don't need it because you don't use it when you learn a language. The second argument is that learning how to do proper handwriting takes a ton of your time. You simply don't want to be slowed down by the necessity to do the handwriting, which you would probably never again use, the no number one. So you think that it's just the waste of your precious time and it's slowing you down in the language learning. The next reason is that it is stressful, especially when you're doing it not properly, and for a long time you need to cross it out, you need to buy more and more notebooks, or you need to print out the templates of how to write it and repeat it. Of course, these arguments, they are true and they are credible, but also there are things that making the learning of proper handwriting good in your general whole language acquisition. The first argument is that for you it trains your memory, it trains your mechanical memory. Because the operation you're doing, you are writing it with your hand and your brain connecting it to some mechanical operation. That means that your learning process is not only connected to your brain, but it also connected to concrete physical action, which helps you to memorize what you're writing. Maybe you remember at school when you were preparing to some exam, you were writing down the answers for the questions. I don't know if you did it, but I did it and it was helpful. That mechanical memory is contributing and fastening actually your language learning. So the time you're spending for learning how to do it properly is compensated with the time you're saving when you use your mechanical memory. The next one is native speakers know how to do it. Even if now you don't write letters and you don't know how to do it, normal people, users of this language, proficient users of this language will definitely know how to do it. That's also in order to go to the native level, you will sooner or later come to the necessity to do it. But for example, for IELTS, now you have the possibility to type IELTS. And here is the new benefit of handwriting. When you're doing handwriting, you can more easy proofread yourself. You can more easy check your mistakes if you're not using machine, of course, or if you're not sending it for your teacher to check it. But as for my students, I ask them to take pictures for me always. Personal proofreading, doing it yourself, is better when it's handwritten. And when you're trying to write something down normal old school way, you're trying to structure it, you're trying to rethink it, and you know that you cannot remove it all the time. So you're more concentrated on what you're doing. You cannot just copy paste it from Google, for example, or put it into translator and paste it to your text. You will literally need to rethink what you're doing, which again makes you more confident with the language. This is the most common pro and cons. Let me know what do you think. As for myself, as for me, I believe that I have to learn handwriting in my target language. Right now I'm learning Mandarin Chinese and I do learn how to write characters because people from different parts of China, they use different dialects or even different Chinese languages, but the writing system for the majority of people is the same. Of course, there is traditional Chinese and simplified Chinese, but everybody understands handwritten simplified Chinese, and not everybody understands Mandarin when you're saying it aloud. That means that only my handwriting would be helpful in any part of China I would like to visit. As for my English, I learned how to do it at school long ago, so I couldn't really compare it. But for example, in Polish language, when I'm writing down something, when I'm writing down my thoughts, when I'm writing down a text, it helps me to think in these terms, to use this vocabulary later when I try to speak. So for me and for my students, as I advise them, handwriting is essential. It's better to spend some time doing it and be confident in it and know how to do it than not to do it. Again, I'm excited about your stories. Tell me what do you think. Tell me how did you learn it or didn't learn and how you feel about that. Thank you very much for watching and I hope to meet you very soon. Goodbye.